So in the next upcoming 5 days, okay, for Built Easy LOI training, we're going to go over all of these core topics. The first one's going to be today, which is a general introduction and basic setup of your account. If you're brand new to Built, this is really helpful. Or maybe you've had a Built account and you just never set it up and you let it go. This is where it will be. Basic setup includes getting your first domain connected, linking it to a website, as well as, getting your A2P set up as well for text messaging. Now, there are some requirements for this. You're going to need a domain provider to buy a domain if you don't have one already, and you're going to need a company or some sort of sole proprietor information to be able to set this up. There's a reason why we can't set this up for you. It's your own assets. Now, if you give us that information, we can assist you with setting that up. We do charge for those services. The next day, tomorrow, we'll be talking about setting up your domains specifically for the Easy LOI outreach, because there is a limitation to how many emails you can send out per day per domain, and linking those domains to specific user accounts. For example, Carson1, Carson2, Carson3. Same way you would do kind of for SMS blasting. It'll be set up for the cold email side of things. I know in real estate we don't do a lot of cold email, and this is why this is very unique, very special. And it is a new way of locking up deals specifically for creative finance deals on the MLS. The third day, we're going to go over compiling and exporting data. Whether you use PropStream, we're going to show examples of PropStream. If you have Batch, whether you have PropWire or any other alternative, it's pretty much the same way. You filter data, you export it. There's no need to skip trace because you already have agent information. It's free. So we're reducing costs of skip tracing. There's no need to even do any of that kind of stuff as well. Then we'll go into day 4, which will be on Tuesday, cleaning our data. And every single person, that one mentorship teaches you how to do this. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, and it's really, really important. But you're going to clean your data. You're going to validate the phone numbers or actual phone numbers. And then you're going to do a bulk email checker, which validates all the emails. Why is this important? 30% of your data, if not more, is going to be incorrect if you do not do that. Whether you skip trace, I don't care what skip trace tool you use. If you try sending an SMS message to a number that's incorrect, you will get shut down. Twilio will shut you down. If you send an email to an invalid email, your domain reputation will go bad. Okay, so this is very important. We show you guys how to do that step by step. We will literally take a spreadsheet that we took out of PropStream and show it in front of you how to do it. Wednesday, we'll be going and actually uploading that data to the CRM, or if you have a team and you have specific users on your team, how to divide the data equally between that team as well. Maybe you have a specific state or city you're giving to a team. Well, we'll show you how to do that as well. And then 6th is actually going to be ongoing. 12 days of training here. First 5 days is actually set up. The next 7 days will all about managing and operating leads and holding you guys accountable to get you guys' first deals and get you guys going. I will be literally your acquisition manager on top of you, telling you what you need to do, what you should not do, how to keep you guys engaged so that you guys can lock up some deals. Sound fair? Cool. So let's deep dive into this real quick. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for all of you guys again. If you have a brand new account, you're gonna get this little message in front of your face. It says, please, if phone configurations are missing, you have to do what's called two-factor authentication. You go to your settings and you click on phone numbers, and I probably won't be able to do it, but you set up a two-factor authentication. You send an email to yourself, you get a code, resolve it. For now, I'm just going to click ignore. We can do that later. I want to go through this, and I'll do a brief demo of the system for everybody who's new here. We all have a dashboard. If you are a team member, you probably do not have access to this dashboard. I know a lot of the admins restrict, the users and such, so they don't have access. But if you're an admin in here, you'll have access to a dashboard, and you'll be able to see all the deals you're working on. You'll be able to see what deals currently they're open, you're working on, that maybe has a dollar value, maybe you have it under contract, maybe you've closed on it, and you'll see a conversion rate as well. For now, I want all of you guys to switch your funnels and your stage distributions to low equity MLS outreach. This is the Easy LOI. Okay, low equity outreach is the long name for Easy LOI. This will basically tell us what we have going on a brief overview. I'm not going to deep dive too much into this dashboard because, again, it really depends on how you operate your business. Some of you won't use tasks, some of you will. Some of you guys will use the bulk dialer and so forth, and this is kind of irrelevant, Google and Facebook analytics, since we're not using that. I want to go over straightforward conversations. Okay, if you haven't already figured it out, it's basically where all your conversations are. It's a Unibox. Whether you text, you email, you call recordings will be there. Whether you Facebook message, whether you Instagram DM, whether you WhatsApp, I don't care. Right, it'll all be in one spot underneath one contact. Calendars, if you have linked Calendly, you don't need it anymore. You can replace it with this, as many calendars as you need within the service. Contacts, you can add as many contacts as you want. You can bulk import contacts through CSV. So next thing we have is our pipeline, our opportunities, which is our pipeline. Switch this to low equity MLS outreach. You guys have to start from scratch. You have to pull your own data, and we'll get into that as well. I'm going to go over this very briefly right now because on day 5 and 6, we will be going on exactly how to operate this pipeline. But basically, all your new properties that you upload will show up right here, and you have the ability of calling and processing that property with the agent, and then you can send automated email offers to them right here, and the rest is follow-up. Payments you're not going to use unless you plan on using contracts inside of our system. You have to upload your own contract templates in here. Marketing is really for if you want to do social media marketing or email marketing or SMS marketing will be in here. Automations is the backbone of the system. These are already pre-built. So the low equity workflows are as the new system, as well as the appointment reminders. Do not mess with these. If you do, please make a copy. Okay, if you ruin it, that's fine. We can come back in and we can re-import a new version here. But the only one we're going to be messing with in our training is the number 1, the very first one. Because this will be who we assign it to, whether it's yourself or a team member or a partner or so forth. We will get into that. You'll notice the calculator is locked because, again, I don't want you guys messing with it. You get to choose which website you want your main domain to be hosted. You need this for A2B compliance. It costs $12 to buy a domain from GoDaddy if you don't have one already. Buy one now so you can follow along. Memberships and courses you can build. We're not going to get into that. Media storage is just how you hold your content. We're not going to get into that. Reporting, we're not going to get into that today. But basically, you can see the reporting of how many emails you've sent, how many calls you've made, how many SMS you've sent, and so forth. We're going to talk about actual setup, getting you guys ready. So if you go to the settings in the business profile, you'll see there's all this information that needs to be filled out. This is legal. You're legally required to fill this out if you want to send SMS messages. If you want to send SMS messages, automated follow-ups, and so forth, you want to fill this all out. For those of you guys, if you go to builtcrm.com/help, there are 700 articles in here helping you get started. If you click on the main category of getting started, you can also follow along through this if you don't like the video format. If you go in here, there is a step-by-step. Say I'm going to literally repeat this entire video right now, and we'll show you how to set all the subdomains up on a later video. But basically, same idea. Fill in your company information in the CRM. Fill all this out. We're going to link domains. We're going to buy your first phone number. We're going to link your emails. And for those of you who are impatient, you're more than welcome to click on Easy LOI, Low Equity. All 5 days are right here. There's no video, but it is text. So if you want to get started with PropStream, click on this. If you want to learn how to verify and clean your data, you can click on all these, how to import, how to set up your emails and your users, and how to actually manage your leads in the pipeline. Every single one of these has step-by-step on how to get started. And if you miss something and you can't figure it out, well, then just rewatch one of these videos, because these videos will be attached to these trainings when we're done. That's the brief. Let's actually get started and set up with our system. We're going to go over business profile settings. And so what's your business name? Core Global Ventures. And is that the legal name as well? Or is there an LLC or anything?
Or LLC, yeah, there's an LLC, sorry.
Okay, LLC. It needs to be very specific or else you'll get rejected from A2B. The legal name is important. Your address is completely important right here. It has to be, if it says Lane, LN, not LANE, then it has to be LN, if that's what's mentioned on your EIN. Same idea, street, drive, all those have to be exact. Down here at the bottom, we're going to choose what our business type is. Okay, well, our business type is an LLC. That's what was just said. Business industry, we're going to choose real estate. Business registration ID is going to be USA, EIN. And then, of course, you would put your EIN number here, and we'll get that in a second. It's going to be USA and Canada. We're going to click Update Information. Always save your information that you put in here so we don't lose it. We'll get to the physical address in a second, but cool. So we'll switch this over to the Eastern time zone. EDT. So it's set specific because this matters if you are sending emails and you try to send emails within, let's say you schedule something at 6 o'clock and you're on a different time zone. Well, guess what? It's not going to send where you want it to. Outbound communication language will be English. You set your time zone. We would authorized representative will be the person that's on the EIN, on the company main representative. You just have to have one of them. If you're partners, just choose one person. It doesn't matter. In the general settings, we do not want to allow duplicate opportunities. All of our opportunities are going to be named the address of the property. We don't want two addresses in our pipelines, so do not check that box. You can merge Facebook contacts by name. Let's say if you do decide to do that, you can check that. We're not going to talk about that today. But what I do want you to check is these two buttons: validate phone numbers and verify email addresses. What does this do? Was an extra system precautionary measure. Yes, there is a charge, 0.005. When you do send an SMS message for the first time to a contact, it will verify on top of the phone validator that you did to make sure that number is still SMS functional. It's better to be safer than sorry. Same thing with the emails. It'll verify that's an actual email that you can send to, and if not, it will not send the email. It will not send the SMS message. It turns out it's not validated. So that's important. Here, we're not going to turn on allow duplicate contact. Do not turn this on. You do not want the same person. You do not want to have 3 agents inside your contacts. We're going to find existing contacts based on email and phone, so this is correct. You can enable this. It is not a requirement, but if somebody calls you back, you can enable this where it sends them a text message. It says, hey, this is so-and-so. I saw that we just missed your call. How can I help? You can change this message to whatever you like. But it's basically your address and EIN number. That's all that's left. Let me just take this off for a second. We'll paste this here. All right, what's the domain that you just bought? What's the address? All right, cool. So
Sure.
it's all set up now on your account. You're good to go right there. The only thing we have to do next is upload your website that you just bought into the system. So we're going to go in here. And by the way, you guys probably want to create your own staff members, and I'll show you guys how to do that later, but it's literally just create a new add employee. Everyone go to domains. We're going to go down here to the bottom, and we're going to click on add domain. It's again, Lauren buys houses, right? So Lauren buys houses.com. Okay. You can allow this check marks. That's fine. We're going to add records manually. And this is again where it comes back to the same standpoint where we need to be able to copy these into GoDaddy's DNS settings or wherever you get your domain from. We need to set up an A record, a C name, and so forth. And we'll show you guys how to do it on GoDaddy. Again, if you're using another platform that's not GoDaddy, then it's going to be very, very similar. The only difference is where the button is. We have a video tutorial on Google domains. I think we have a video tutorial on Cloudflare, and we have a video tutorial on I think it's Hostinger or something. So if you get your domains from there, there are video tutorials on that. If not, I mean, we need to be a little bit techy, guys. Okay, we need to be at least know how to do basic stuff when it comes to domains. And then in this day and age, I'm going to be honest, right? If you don't know how to use a computer, figure out how to use a computer. Everything's online now, guys. All right, so let's go back to domains. We're going to add a domain, and this is going to be Lauren buys houses. We're going to add records manually, and then let's go to GoDaddy. Sign in. All right, cool. So if you're already logged into this, you can skip all that hassle and just go directly to your domain and then click on domain manage DNS. And then literally, if you have a brand new domain, all you have to do is add new records. If you have a domain that's already linked to another website, you need to delete everything but the default that's inside of GoDaddy. This is what the default looks like. If you don't have this, only these, 6 DNS settings, you need to delete them. But since this is a new domain, all we have to do now is just add a record. We're going to choose an A record to put the @ sign for the name. We are going to go back here because that's the host. We're going to copy this required value, which is an IP address, and we're going to paste it in the value. We're going to add a new record. If I'm going too fast, it's just copy and paste, guys. We're going to copy the www field for a CNAME. CNAME, www. Again, we're going to take the value, which is sites.ludicrous. Don't know why they chose that. And then we're going to save all records. All right, cool. So now that this is set up in here and ready to go, we literally just copied and pasted domains. We can click verify records. Now this can take 30 seconds. It could take up to 2 minutes of retrying and verifying this. So if it doesn't go through the first time, just click verify again. Click on retry. If you copied and pasted it correctly, you don't have to worry about what's in GoDaddy. So we'll just wait for this. Again, problem with the action. We'll click verify records. We'll do it again until it approves. We updated information in the DNS, and GoDaddy needs to notify, the IP address that's right here that, hey, we're allowed to. So we'll give it a second and we'll just retry. But for now that we have that ready to go, and we'll go back to it for you guys, the next stage to do is your email. Who in here plans on sending emails out to agents? So you don't actually need to have and pay $6, $7 a month for a G Suite account or a 365 account. It's free and built. It comes with it. It has its own hosting. You can have as many users as you want without paying that $6, $7 per user. So keep this in mind. When you do cold email marketing, it kind of adds up. Those that know cold email marketing know that you need to have sometimes 20, 30, 40 domains, and you need to have users for each one of them, and that adds up a lot. We're not here to do that. We're here to cut costs for everybody. All right, so while this is going, let's go ahead and go to email services. When you first get your built account, it's going to have a subdomain here called lc.messagebuiltcrm.com. What that basically means is you guys are using my subdomain to send emails. If every single 400 users are sending from the same domain, what do you think is going to happen to your email? It's going to land in spam. So you need to upload your own email to this. It's a very simple process, and we're going to go through this. Again, it is copying and pasting to your DNS settings. So we're going to create a dedicated domain for this, and this is just going to be your general one. This is not for setting up accounts later on to send mass blast emails and such. It'll be the same process, but the difference is we're only going to do one here, and it's going to be so that you have a way of communicating inside of the CRM that's not attached to your personal email, that's not attached to maybe another business email that you have, and it's just for marketing purposes. And so I like to create subdomains. It's the easiest way to do it. It doesn't affect your domain. If the reputation of it goes bad in the future, you can just delete it and create another one. So what we'll do here is LC, which is a subdomain, dot, right, not IC, LC, and then your domain name, .com. So we're going to click on add and verify. And again, the same idea, we're going to add records manually. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's actually a sixth one. This is why we're redoing this as well, because it's not available in our previous video training. So we're going to go through this together. Same way. We're going to create 2 TXT files, a CNAME, and 2 MX files. So if I go inside of here and add new record, I can literally choose a TXT file, add more, choose a TXT. If you're on, let's say, a different domain provider, you cannot do this. Not all of them give you this option. So again, you might have to do them one by one. CNAME, we're going to choose CNAME. And then the last two are MXs. We're going to add those MX records. Here we go. So now it's just copying and pasting. So we have the host. We're going to copy, paste, take the value. We're going to copy and paste. Take the TXT one down here. It's just our subdomain, LC. Copy and paste. Take the value. Copy and paste it. Go back to CNAME. Take the domain right there, the value, the name. Email to LC. Mailgun. Copy and paste. And if you're wondering how I'm copying and pasting like this without right clicking, it's Control C, Control V. Paste those in. And that is it. All right, now priority here for these ones, we're going to put 10. I know it doesn't say it anywhere in built, but we're going to put 10 for those priorities. And we're going to go ahead and click Save All Records. We'll go back to built, we'll click Verify Records. And it's not going to verify because we're still missing this last one. So we're going to have to add this one manually too. A txt, the name dmarc underscore dmarc. So we'll add a new record, txt, we'll paste the name, we'll go back here and we'll take the value and we'll paste the value. We'll go ahead and hit save. So now that we have everything in here, we can again go ahead and click verify records. And we're going to have to do this a few times. We're going to hit to go back to dedicated domains. We're going to have to hit verify now. And if you're lucky, you'll get it the first time. If not, you have to do this 3 or 4 times. Click on verify domain. Didn't work. Go back. Again, we're basically just waiting for it to update in the system for us to get it in our system. And it looks like it issued it right away. Okay. That means technically we can go back to our domains now and Lauren buys houses.com. Say continue. Verify records. What if I did replies.domain.com? You can do whatever you want, whatever subdomain you want, but you need to make sure it matches your DNS settings. So in our case, we used LC. You can change your subdomain to whatever you want. Just remember, like, you only want one thing pointing to something, right? So one A record pointing to an IP address, right? A C name needs to have one pointing to whatever. This is a subdomain pointing to something, so it's fine. The MX need to have different things for verification. TXCs, you can have as many as you want. But a C name and an A name are really, really important. And that's what really shows, what's populating on your website. If you realize that your website is not opening and it's giving you an error message, it's probably because something in your DNS was done incorrectly. There we go. So it worked. Now, you can link this to a website directly from here. That is up to you. I would suggest wait a second and just hit cancel. But basically now your domain is up to date. So now that we have our domain in here, we need to link it to a website. We have 7 websites pre-built for you inside of these sites, websites. Cash deals, creative deals. Are you a land buyer? Do you plan on focusing on multifamily? We're all here for the easy LOI, so I'm assuming creative. Okay, so we'll click on creative finance because this is the website, and we'll open it up just to see what it looks like. So you guys kind of get an idea of what it is. But basically your website is pre-built for you. You might want to change your logo, that's up to you, but notice how it populates Sheridan because that's your location name, right, where your EIN is. You might want to change that manually if you're targeting a specific location or city or state. So again, it populates right here. But anyhow, everything is populated. Maybe some reviews could be updated from your end, but everything else, as far as the compare at, why they might want to deal with Coral instead of an investor or another agent, it's already pre-built. And if they submit, they click on this, they get to submit a form. If you want to do PPC later on, can. But really, we're just trying to get set up for A2P and give you something that's credible. So if a seller or an agent asks you for what's your website, you have it now. And if Twilio, the gods of SMS, say, hey, we can't approve you because you need a website, well, here you go. You have a website ready to go. We're going to go ahead and click on settings for creative finance, and we're going to choose our domain. Now, do not, and I repeat, do not choose the www. WWs are redirects, we call them. When we choose the regular domain, when somebody does type in www, it will redirect to the regular domain, so it's fine. But we will select the domain here, and we will click on save. There's one more step we have to do for the domain to be actually work, and that is to go back to your settings, go back to your domains, and click on the 3 dots for the one that does not have the www. Click on edit, select your default page as the home page. Yeah, you can name it whatever 2 letters you want. Just make sure when you do your DNS settings that it's the same 2 letters or whatever word you put in before that. So like in this case right here, if we go to her DNS settings, it says email.lc, right? Email dot the subdomain, right? Down here it has the subdomain, the subdomain, the subdomain. So if you change it to something else, just make sure it's accurate. We'll get back and make sure that the website's verified, of course, but let's move on. Okay. The next stage of this is your A2P. Okay, so we've already set up our business profile settings and we've already set up our domain. We've already set up our email. The next stage, the only thing that's left realistically is our privacy in terms of service. Make sure they are actually working, which they are ready for you. There is one additional step, and then actually applying for A2P compliance. But let's go back to your website. So if you go to your sites, you'll notice we already have a privacy in terms of service already. Thank you. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to our actual website, but you'll notice here on the form builder, we have the terms and conditions right here and privacy policy. We actually need to put physically our address for the privacy policy and terms of service as a hyperlink there. And the reason why we don't do it automatically for you, well, of course, your domain changes, right? So in this case scenario, I'm going to open up these in new tabs and we're going to go to our forms and we're going to go to the creative finance form. And then we are going to literally click on this, highlight terms of service, our terms and conditions, click on the 3 dots, insert hyperlink, and then this is your terms of service link. We'll copy that and we'll paste it. And then we will take the privacy policy, we'll copy that, and we will paste it for the privacy policy. We'll go ahead and save that. So once that is saved, if you go back to your website, you will see that now they are hyperlinked in here, because that is a requirement for A2P compliance. Okay, so you have your terms of service and privacy policy. You also have it all the way down at the bottom, your privacy policy and terms of service. Okay, if I were to click on them, well, let's make sure this one actually goes here. Yeah, so it actually goes directly to the page, so we're fine. Save that. Go ahead and publish it just in case. If you're familiar with SEO, you're more than welcome to modify these. They're not important unless you plan on branding yourself. As you can see, the website opens up. So if we go click on the About Us, avoid listings, our process, contact us, everything is populated, everything is ready for you. If you don't want your number and address to show up here, change it. It's up to you. Our privacy policy, our terms of service will populate. That's all good. And then the last thing you want to make sure of when you're at home is the terms of service and privacy policy here open up correctly, which they do. This is what's needed for A2P compliance. Took a bit for GoDaddy to officially allow us to see the website, but it works now. It really doesn't take that long to do. If we had an existing account, it wouldn't have taken us this long of waiting for things to happen and us going around in circles, right? If you know what you're doing, or if you can follow along, you could probably do this in a half an hour and your account is ready to go. Your website will be up and running, your emails will be up and running. You can buy a phone number literally by clicking on settings. Once you verify your 2-factor authentication here, and you can literally click buy phone number. Again, if you want the texting feature, you do have to do A2P. If you want the A2P video, but if you go to the getting started checklist and you click on this first video right here, it'll literally walk you through the steps of what exactly to say in the campaign settings for A2P so you do not get rejected. That goes through general intro for Built Easy LOI training and the basic setup. Once you have all that ready to go, we can now move forward to tomorrow we're going to going over setting up more domains and adding more user accounts, and then making sure that each individual user is not sending on the same domain for reputation purposes. So if we reduce the issue of spam, because the most common thing right now, and you just because you download PDF offers, and let's say you use our free version right here, that you go all the way down to the bottom and you use our generator and you generate that offer. Well, just because you get an offer does not mean you can just send 100 in one day. You will literally get thrown in spam because they don't want you to send that many. And so this is how our workaround, this is how automations help us, get around a lot of those things, and so that we are safe and ready to go. But just because you have this doesn't mean you're actually going to be able to do things. But our goal here is to make it so you guys can send as many offers as you guys want in a day without any excuse. And the only excuse you'll have is saying, hey, I don't have enough domains. Okay, I don't have enough users.